Faced with many hours of intense study in his Oxford University dorm, Laurie Pycroft is typical of a growing number of students. He says perhaps as many as a quarter of those he knows who've tried an artificial means of staying awake and alert, the drug of choice, Modafinil.
Some people report that they become very, very focused and very good at concentrating on a repetitive task. Personally, I found it to be almost imperceptible, except for the feeling of wakefulness.
Modafinil was developed to combat the sleeping disorder narcolepsy. It's illegal to supply it in the UK without a prescription, but many simply purchase it online or buy it from dealers around campuses where it's said to be in plentiful supply.
So this is the Cantab test of planning and problem solving, and we usually see, very striking effects, good effects, when people take modafinil on this test.
Cambridge professor Barbara Sahakian says increasing numbers of students are feeling pressured into taking the drug to keep pace with their peers.
What's missing are the long-term safety studies in healthy people. So we really need to look at, in the long term, are these drugs safe and effective for healthy people to use?
There is no definitive research, but anecdotally, academics and students we've spoken to suggest there has been a huge surge in the use of modafinil. Universities UK say they've seen no firm evidence to suggest that the use of modafinil is widespread here at Oxford or on other university campuses across the country. However, they say they certainly don't condone students using this drug. Indeed, they acknowledge the long-term health implications of the persistent use of modafinil simply aren't known. Along with the potential health risks, there are ethical considerations. If taking modafinil gives students an advantage, does it also then constitute cheating? Those concerns are not shared by this Oxford academic, who claims he's one of a number of academics who use modafinil.
After a while I found enough evidence that convinced me this is safe enough that at least I can take responsibility for the risk, and I tried it. And I found that it was pretty useful. Not anything world-changing or transforming, but simply useful.
It seems increasing numbers of students like Laurie believe any potential risks are worth taking if it helps boost their academic performance. Mark White, Sky News.
So, you may have seen this movie, Limitless, a little while back with Bradley Cooper. It would seem that life is imitating art as far as this pill that's come on the market that apparently is like Viagra for your brain. Here's a look at the movie, and then we'll talk about it a little more.
A tablet a day, and what I could do with my day was limitless. I learned to play the piano in 3 days. Math became useful and fun. I'm all in. Even half listening to any language, I became fluent. So, Mom, I've been doing a little research on Aunt Helen's tumor, and it's totally clear that anybody with familial abdominis polyposis should be supplementing platinum-based doublet regimens with icos and pentoic acid. I suddenly knew everything.
So, you may have been starting to hear about this pill called Provigil. And it's something that apparently is given out by prescription for narcolepsy, sleep apnea, or for people who work irregular hours. And it keeps you awake and allows you to, if you're finding yourself very sleepy during the day. But now people who are taking it are saying they feel phenomenally clear-minded, really sharp, like they can do just about anything. One woman was quoted as saying that she gets up at 5 a.m. to complete 2 full workouts before heading to work. She said, I could not do this without Provigil. It just wouldn't be the same. Others say it's just a clear day. There's no fog whatsoever.
Seems so scary, though, to take a drug and use it for off-label purposes and then have all these side effects where you have so much energy. There's just something that inherently just doesn't feel right about that.
There's a downside to this somewhere.
Exactly. And pro athletes are using it to give them a competitive edge, and poker players and things like that.
So they'll be testing for this. This will be part of the drug testing.
But what's more fascinating is the reason why it's so tempting. Because so many of us are walking around in a fog, tired, and you know the information is in there. You know you're capable of so much more, but there's something is blocking you.
We all have those days, yeah, where you're searching for a word or you want to go do something else, but you're just so pooped.
And it should say that the National Institute of Health does advise that there are side effects, including back pain, tingling, depression, and hallucinations.
Well, and, you know, apparently doctors don't exactly know why it works the way it works. And until, you know, I was saying this earlier, until something's been on the market for a significant amount of time, you really never know.
But it's always startling, given what you just said, what portion of the population is willing to make itself a guinea pig? Oh, well, I'll be a guinea pig for that.
That was the whole point of Limitless, where he didn't know what was going to happen to him by taking that pill, but it was so attractive, he couldn't say no.
Yeah, and that's why I think maybe this is from like a journalism point of view. What I think is more fascinating is why there's so many people with a need for this.
We work ourselves to the
because we don't have life balance.
Exactly.
People want something.
That's like every time I go on vacation and I see that like half the people by the pool or wherever are asleep in the middle of the day, and it's just so apparent that like people are just so exhausted these days, just trying to keep up. So I'm sure we'll be hearing more about this in the days to come.